welcome to Atlanta Mix 108. Up next is Author Talk with your host, M.L.Ruscsak. But first, a song you can only find on Atlanta Mix 108. Ready for Your Love by Seacal and Ashley Collazo.
I'm ready for your love, don't wanna waste your time. It's you I want forever, and forever's a long time. I'm ready for your love, I wanna spend my time with you and no one else until the end of time. Cause I'm ready for your love, don't wanna waste your time. It's you I want forever, and forever's a long time. Cause I'm ready for your love, I wanna spend my time with you and no one else until the end of time. I'm ready for your love.
I can't believe that you really made me stop pitching. And though I think about it, yeah, it got me tripping. And now I'm having visions of you and me forever. They say it's locked down, I say it makes me better. My boo gon' love this, homies gon' think it's cheesy, but I'm still in the hood, and I'm still talking greasy. I just found something real, someone that I could chill without no problems, no drama, someone I really feel. What was this man without you? See, you became my world. You sexy lady, drive me crazy, you my favorite girl. No more wildin' with the homies and hanging in the clubs, cause God sent me an angel, yeah, sent from above.
For your love, don't wanna waste your time. It's you I want forever, and forever's a long time. I'm ready for your love, I wanna spend my time with you and no one else until the end of time. Cause I'm ready for your love, don't wanna waste your time. It's you I want forever, and forever's a long time. Cause I'm ready for your love, I wanna spend my time with you and no one else until the end of time. I'm ready for your love.
And now it's been a year, seemed like just yesterday. I scooped you up, gave you a hug, you stole my heart away. I knew I wanted to keep you when you sat down in the seat. No matter of fact, it was when I saw you walking in the street. I told my dude, look at that girl, ain't she a beauty? Pretty face, thin waist, and a nice booty. She had me straight like whoa, she had my heart thumping, sorta like beats up in the car bumping. I wanted you on my side, saw it no other way. Love was in the air cause it was Valentine's Day. Like where you been all my life when I was in the slums. I want you to be the one, I'm ready for your love, girl.
Don't wanna waste your time. It's you I want forever, and forever's a long time. I'm ready for your love, I wanna spend my time with you and no one else until the end of time. Cause I'm ready for your love, don't wanna waste your time. It's you I want forever, and forever's a long time. Cause I'm ready for your love, I wanna spend my time with you and no one else until the end of time. I'm ready for your love, I'm ready for your love.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that you're so beautiful, you're so amazing, and I'm so glad you came into my life, girl. Yeah.
Just when I think I can't learn to love one, I imagine myself all alone and you're gone. I'm ready for your love, don't wanna waste your time. It's you I want forever, and forever's a long time. I'm ready for your love, I wanna spend my time with you and no one else until the end of time. Cause I'm ready for your love, don't wanna waste your time. It's you I want forever, and forever's a long time. Cause I'm ready for your love, I wanna spend my time with you and no one else until the end of time. I'm ready for your love.
In 1992, when Amy Fisher and John Gotti were dominating the news, there lived two men. The first was a once prominent cartoonist who had a very public fall from grace. The other was an alcoholic who worked in a landfill. Both lived in different parts of the country and led completely separate lives, Until one day, their paths crossed. You know their names. And for over 20 years, you thought you knew their story. Until their journals were found and authenticated in 2014. And what we thought we knew were the old news clips, the old stories wanted us to think were all wrong.
Have they been authenticated? Who's the rightful owner? Where's all this been for what, 20-something years?
33 Cecils, a novel by Everett De Morier. Available at BlydenSquareBooks.com, Amazon.com, and where all good books are sold.
Good evening, Atlanta. We're back here with Author Talk. I'm your host, M.L.Ruscsak, and I have a very special award-winning guest today. Everett, I'm going to butcher your last name, so can you please tell our audience?
Sure, De Morier.
Yeah, see. I no longer can do the French names.
Yeah, you have to add the ho to the end of it.
Yeah, I used to be able to do it 3 strokes later, not so much. No, like I said, you're a award winner, top fiction award in the London Book Festival. So,
Correct.
Congratulations on that. And
thank you.
That was 3 seasons.
Correct.
Is that right? Great. Yep. Would you mind telling our listeners what that's about?
Sure. 33 Cecils came out in 2015, and it's kind of an interesting format. It was written as if it was a novel written as if it really happened, and Amazon called it the only novel that you have to Google to see if it's real. So it's written. I cut my chops on nonfiction books, so it's written as if it's covering a story that happened, and then you cover it in a fictional way. It came from a very small publisher in Philadelphia called Blyden Square Books, and we were real happy with it. It won the London Book Festival Award. It's actually being taught. It's mandatory reading in Binghamton High School in New York, and the film rights were sold, and I got the opportunity to write the screenplay for it, and it is being turned into a major feature film in 2019.
Oh, that is so awesome. Who's doing the film?
It's a company called, there's two. There's a company called Hornpin Media and a company called Sunset River. And like I said, the one thing that I really wanted to do was write the screenplay, and I thought that was going to be so incredibly easy. After writing 7 original theatrical plays and writing the book, I thought this was going to be a breeze, but it is writing a screenplay is definitely one of the most difficult things I've done. But working with a great group in LA, and we got it the way that we wanted to do it. And you have to make some sacrifices with going from a screenplay to a novel. And sacrifices isn't even the right word. You have to decide, things that work well in a book won't necessarily work well in a film, and things that you couldn't do in a book you can do in a film. So you have to adapt a little bit, which is great as long as you keep that core story.
Having wrote 2 screenplays myself, 2 of my daunting tasks and very nerve-wracking compared to writing the book itself.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's very mechanical. Now, what software did you use? Did you use Final Draft?
I started with Amazon and their studio that they had, and then I went from that to FreeWrite to another screenplay writing one. I forget which one. I'm not on the computer to tell you right now.
Sure.
It's just so daunting. Yeah. But then I added the storyboard and the concept to go along with the screenplay.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about writing when you write a novel, it's anything you want. I mean, you can go the distance you want. You can just go crazy if you want. There's certain rules within a screenplay. I mean, 1 minute of, one page is 1 minute of screen time, and I remember the first draft talking to Brian Esquivel and Robinson McGiffin and going, okay, this paragraph you just wrote here is an extra $80,000. I'm going, really? Because they had the insight to go, well, just to do what you just did, that's an extra $80,000, and we can do it this way, for a lot less. And it's just being able to be intuitive to those kind of things where you can tell the story without telling the story, in a way that's going to waste your resources.
Right. It's like I said, it's very daunting to do, and it's always great to have someone that's done screenplays and knows that background to give you insight.
Yeah, and I think I got really, really lucky in the fact that we teamed up with a gentleman named Brian Esquivel, who owns Sunset River, and not only is Brian seasoned, but he's also a guy that really cares about the story, which is really unique. Well, maybe it's not so unique. But you look at the idea of Hollywood producers and they're hurry up, get it out, crank it out, let's make money. And, Brian and the guys that work with him let's wait. Are we really being true to the story? Are we really, telling the story that we have to? We took, with Brian, I think it took a month to come up with the movie poster, because Brian just wasn't happy. And you would think the producer, what's funny is the producer doesn't get paid until the film gets made. So you would think he would be the guy pushing everybody along, come on. But I'm really impressed and almost humbled with how dedicated he is to the story to make sure everything is right.
That is awesome. He was able to take his time with that. And I applaud you for not only getting the movie to come out, but just to find someone to do it to be true to your story.
Yeah, and it's, a lot of that is serendipitous. I never dreamed it went out. I didn't pursue it. The quick story is, the book 33 Cecils was actually, and I didn't even know this until later, it was used by a group that teaches inmates writing. And there's a lady that was the head of this group, and she was home visiting her father, and she had the novel with her, and she was telling her father, well, this is the book that I'm using. This is a book I'm using, for the program to teach inmates how to write. She went to bed. He took the book out. He read it that night, and that gentleman ended up being named Kevin Cooper, and he actually formed. He was so impressed with the book that he actually formed the production company around that book. So a lot of it was just, total serendipity, and I'm very humbled. Yeah.
That is an awesome, awesome story. See, I wrote The New Brain thinking, okay, it was a challenge book for me to write by my husband. He said, you're already writing things. Publish a book that's your own. See where it goes. So I wrote the one, and everyone that's read it is, this needs to be a movie. Well, yeah, that's great. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, how to get this in front of people that want to make a movie? So I started doing the screenplay and doing my own legwork at that point. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, and I think, and the challenge is, I think that the challenge with any of these things is to find somebody that's passionate about it. And you find somebody that's passionate about it and believes in it as much as you do, and things will happen. The one thing that I've realized is I thought the big thing in Hollywood was money. You got to have it. You got to find somebody that has deep pockets. But if you find professionals that believe in it, the money is there.
Right. It's just getting it to those professionals and not getting scammed in the meeting of time.
Yep, exactly, and getting and plugging into someone that is as passionate about it as you are, and that's a challenge with everything.
Yeah, it's just
you
have the challenge of getting in front of your audience as an author, and then you have the challenge of getting into the movie business, people, producers, directors, who have you. And it's just one challenge after another, but that's what makes life interesting, is meeting each one of those challenges.
And I think the good side, the upside, and I'm a rank novice as far as films go and that sort of thing, as far as on the production level. But I'm learning very quickly, and what's really interesting is this seems to be the new golden age of film. I mean, it used to be you had to find somebody with $20 million. You had to shoot a film. You had to get it physically into theaters. You had to get people in those seats to watch it. You had to make your money back and then maybe make a little on TV. And those days are gone. Now you've got Netflix and you've got Hulu and you've got on demand, and that is instant cash flow. And people, there are many studios get into the theaters for a week and then get out because it's expensive, and we're going to make our money on Netflix, and we're going to make our money on Hulu and on Amazon Prime, and people are going to be pushing the button, and it is a great time to be involved in that type of film because it's extremely, extremely profitable.
Exactly. It's so wonderful that we have different outlets now, where it's not just you have to wait a year from it to be in theater before it comes on DVD. So. And
there are some phenomenal films that I just did a review, I don't know, probably a year ago, of the Wizard of Lies, which is the Bernie Madoff film with Robert De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer. Probably one of the best films I've ever seen, and it never went to theater. I mean, there are some phenomenal films that are just choosing to go, directly on demand.
Yeah, then you have the ones that are on Netflix that are Netflix original. I forget names right now. I'm sorry, but they're just wonderful movies, and they just directly to Netflix.
And you can just go down and what's going on with series and that sort of thing is just it's a very exciting time period. I just saw a film. What was it called? It was called Cargo, and it was a direct Netflix original film. Phenomenal film. I mean, there's just some really creative stuff doing with extremely talented people that's going straight to video on demand. Not because they can't make it to the theaters, but they choose not to.
Yeah, and that's the thing is when you have that choice. Do I want to go to theater and maybe have a bad weekend, and then it's going to be plastic. Oh, it had a bad weekend, but it's a great film. People don't go to theaters as much as they used to.
And what's going to be interesting is what does that mean from 10 years, well, even 5 years from now? I mean, right now it seems that you go to a theater to watch Jurassic World. You go to a theater to watch Black Panther. You go for those big box office experiences, and it seems that's the way it's heading. That you will go to the theater, but then you'll the date night, the Friday night, the Saturday night with the popcorn and sitting on the couch is going to be a Netflix original, and it seems like that's where it is now, and it looks like that's where it's continuing.
Right. Personally, I go to the theater maybe 4 times a year. Not there's nothing out there. It's just I'll wait for it to come out on demand or Netflix or wherever, curl up on my couch where it's comfortable, and watch the movie at home.
Sure, where you can pause it, where you can do absolutely, yeah.
It's where the film industry is heading. And it's wonderful to be a part of that right now, as both a watcher and other. And then you go, it's just wonderful time.
Yeah, and you haven't even hit on, and that's the direct, Netflix kind of thing. Then the other world is there's some incredible creative stuff doing with just online videos and online films.
Yes.
From a student film perspective, I mean that's an incredible what's going on there. Now it's a little more difficult there because there's some promotional type things, and you've got to weed through all the other stuff, but there's still some amazing stuff being done.
Yes, there is. And then you have the YouTube videos as well that people are creating. May not be a full feature-length presentation, but there's some wonderful movies right there on YouTube that people have created.
Absolutely.
I'm not talking about the videos about games or stuff. I'm talking movie-type things.
Oh, yeah, and documentaries and absolutely, yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on that people can touch base on.
Yeah, it's an interesting time to be a creative, creative person, and I think if you're really focused and you really have a desire for that sort of thing, I think it's a fun time to play around with it.
Oh, it's exactly a fun time. And then you had ads right now. I don't know if you're aware, there's a new thing called a Sin book coming out that blends an e with a movie. So you can, like an ebook, you can hear it like an audiobook, or you can watch it like a movie.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's something completely new. I'm very happy that the new Rain, my own book, is part of this new venture right now.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting.
So we have in my publishing house myself, and there's 2 other books coming out by another author. It's wonderful to be not only part of the publishing house to experience this, but as an author to see it happen.
Sure. Absolutely. Very interesting.
Yeah. Marketing is always wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're always coming up with something. I thought, and just when you think something will take off, I remember 4 or 5 years thinking that book trailers were going to take off, and there was a lot of people that were really promoting on creative book trailers, and you see them, and you see them on a small scale, but you didn't see that explosion of like mini movies that I thought. We're actually doing we're shooting a book trailer next month for a new book that's coming out in December, and we're doing it that old school way. But I really expected publishers to follow that, and I think, and if you look at book trailers, you got to slog through a lot of stuff that's basically just a slideshow with text. But there have been some incredible book trailers, and I think the challenge with that is it's publishers kind of veered away from it because there's no direct way to track sales from it. It's just a creative entity. But I thought that was going to take off. I really thought that book trailers were going to be that creative entity about a book, and they basically just, they stayed in that sort of commercially type thing. They never really took off. There's a dozen or so ones that are amazing, but they never really exploded to what I thought they were going to do.
Yeah, there's a few I've seen and a few that I've had done for my books that I love, and there's a few of them that are like, okay, I'm just watching slideshows of words.
Exactly. I'm watching slideshow of words with the music, and you're getting me to buy a book. Well, that's really not really a trailer. A trailer is it takes it to the. It's basically a mini screenplay of a book, and it's not easy. It's not easy to do, and I know that why a lot of people don't do it, because it's not easy to do. But I really thought that was going to be the next thing. I thought people were just really going to invest in that creative venture, but it is incredibly hard to do. But I didn't see the explosion that I thought I was going to see.
Yes, I haven't made a few of these trailers for my publishing house. It's not easy. I usually do the.
It's not easy.
No, I just do really quick. I'm not very digitally.
Yep.
Advanced as some of them that I've paid to have done, but I get the point across. And I do like the thank yous for voting for something for the book or something unique like that.
And there was a company, and I think I don't want to say it because I don't want to say the name of the company wrong, but there was a company in L.A. that about 2 or 3 years ago they created a studio, nothing to just do trailers, and they were live action book trailers. So you give them the novel, they read the novel, and then they hire actors and they do an honest trailer, and they do phenomenal work, but it's pricey. It's really, really pricey. Yeah. And the publishers, are even cutting back on publicity and that sort of thing. And there's no way they're going to shell out $10,000-$15,000 for this. And someone who's doing it on their own definitely can't. But it's a shame because it's a great art form that I was just really hoping would take off.
Yes, it's underrated.
Right.
And with my publishing hubs, I'm like, here's a couple of designers. They're reasonable with their pricing. Have a trailer made. Get your name out there. Do something. Because a lot of them are first-time authors, new to the world of literature as being an author, and they just need to get out there. And the best way to do that is to do something completely different or off the cuff.
And you know what's a really inexpensive way to go to the next level, and it's not hard to do, is that 90% of these book trailers are exactly like you said. It's a slideshow and it's graphics, because you can do it for free, and then you write Cynthia knew that there was something, and you write the graphics on, and that's 99% of these are done that way. For about $100, you can get a voice artist to do it for you. And there's some great sites out there. There's one called voices.com, and I've used voices.com for plays and for narration. And you just post it and you say, here's my dialogue, and people bid for it. And they actually record what you wanted so you can hear them saying your words. And it's very inexpensive. And just the idea of having your slideshow with a real professional voiceover will take that from a C- to a B-.
That's a really good point. Now, we're a little off topic. What other books, other than the one that won your award, do you have work on right now?
Sure. 33 Seasons was the novel. It came out in 2015. I have another book coming out this December called The Invention of Everything, Insights on Life, Food, and One Good Thermos. And it's the best of articles that I wrote for 543 magazine. So it's everything from well, the 543 magazine was started when I realized that my two sons were getting older, and I wanted to make sure that before they left the nest, they knew how to change a tire and how to jumpstart a car and how to pack a suitcase and how to ask for a raise.
You mean life skills that aren't taught these days?
As life skills, adulting skills, but also, like some ethics stuff and some humor stuff, and just because I learned from, I grew up in a little town in the mountains of the Catskills, and I learned through stories. My uncles didn't say this is how you hammer a nail. They would tell me a story about it as they're doing it. So the publisher approached me and looked at some of the best of articles, and we put together this book that we're pretty proud of that's coming out in December.
That is awesome. I look forward to looking at it. I don't know how much I'll get through to reading. I have so much on my plate right now to read. So
I can imagine.
It's like every time I get one book done, I have 10 more waiting for me.
Yeah, we went on vacation and we went to this great bookstore, this great used. It was a barn, and it was so incredible. You'd walk into one room and you'd find another room, and then you'd walk into another room, and then you realize there's another floor and another floor. So I came back with this huge pile, and I'm weeding down the pile, and as I'm weeding down, I'm adding more to it. So the pile is never getting to the bottom.
Yeah, I have bookshelves of books that I've read and ones that I need to read, and then I just keep adding to both. I'm like, it's never, but at times it's so fulfilling as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So, where can my listeners, your readers, find you right now?
The best way to find me is everettdemorier.com, and I wish my name was Bill Smith to make it easier, but it's EVERETT, and then De Morier, DEMORIER. So everettdemorier.com. That's probably the easiest. It's the list of the books coming out and the new books, and then links to the publishers. And then you can also go to 543magazine.com. And that has, if any of your listeners have anything on basic stuff from how to make coffee to how to get over a tragedy to how to pack a suitcase, as well as just some funny stuff.
That is awesome advice, because I'm appalled to think anyone out there doesn't know how to make coffee, but you'd be surprised.
Yeah, you would be surprised. Absolutely.
My uncle gave my one cousin a percolator one year for camping, and she looked at it and was like, "What is this?"
Yep.
I'm like, "Really?" I've never gone camping, but I know what that is. I know how to use it.
Yep.
I'll teach you.
Yep. I keep right next to my desk in my office, I have a rotary dial phone just as a reminder of how fast everything changes. Because it wasn't that long ago that I was making calls on a rotary dial phone as a young man. And now there are probably people that wouldn't even know how to use one.
Yeah, I remember having that at my grandmother's house growing up. I'm like, will they ever make something so simpler than this? And now we have cell phones that have so many gadgets. I'm like,
isn't that funny?
Can we go back to simple, please?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but yeah, it's amazing where we came from 20 years ago to now, and where things are going on, heading toward in the next 20 years.
And that's the funny part. I mean, to think about that, my kids who are in their 20s, you know, that their kids are going to be looking, going, you had cell phones that you had to carry in your pockets? Oh, my gosh. I mean, it's going to be I can't wait for the day when their technology is old.
Right. It's so funny watching everything. And my daughter, I love her dearly. She does not know how to work a DVR or a DVD player. I'm like, really? It's a controller. You push like 2 buttons. She's like, oh, it's just complicated. Give me on demand.
Yep.
I'm like, wow. I feel so old, but so funny to watch at the same time. But we're almost out of time.
Not too long ago, when the oil crisis or oil boom came over, they had to find people that were roughnecks that could run the old oil equipment because there weren't any left. So sometimes those old things come back.
Yes, they do. And I can only hope for simpler times again. But we're out of time, and I have had such a joy talking to you today.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I enjoyed it too.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And Atlanta, good night, happy reading, and watch for this movie to come out in 2019.